I've got a...
Okay, never mind. We're starting the podcast.
Okay.
God. Hey, everybody, and welcome to the podcast that we haven't decided the name on yet. Please leave a comment in below if you want to tell us what the name of the podcast should be, because we kept coming up with names that had to do with the clitoris, and it wouldn't be allowed on the Apple Store. It's a long story. Anyway, this podcast is about people who know how to do YouTube, so we're going to talk shop, and then we're just going to digress into topics that have nothing to do with anything. My name is Mario of the GeekRemix channel, and everybody else now introduce yourselves.
Hey, I'm Josh from GamingFTL, and I do indie games.
I'm WanderBot from WanderBots. I do WanderBot things.
And my name is Brett from the SirCrest channel, where I do nothing.
Okay, WanderBot does Let's Plays, and also he is an animator. Crest does high-res 4K things on his channel or something like that.
Black Shell Maddie.
Yeah, Lee does
No, I don't do
Minecraft. If you ask him to do more Minecraft. And GamingFTL games faster than light and does Let's Plays and stuff.
Yeah.
He only plays FTL. Only.
No, I never play FTL. I had the name first, damn it.
For the lazy, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Wasn't that it? Gaming for the lazy?
I change it every now and again. Keep people on their toes.
Change the origin story.
Yeah.
Brett, what do you do, Mario?
Brett.
What?
Brett.
You have something to bitch and moan about, and I think it's kind of funny, but also...
We should probably go over what Mari does first, seeing as the rest of us got our piece.
Oh, shit, sorry.
Mari rants about lesbians on the internet, from what I can tell.
I don't rant about it. I am passionate about it. But it's making it sound like I hate lesbians or something. It's the opposite. No, I make video game theories. I yell on Twitter a lot. I make top 10s, Easter eggs, and then I make Let's Plays with Stacy, who is the other half of GeekRemix. And
3 halves.
She's top half fish, right?
Yeah, we have a channel together. What?
She's the top half fish, right? Is this not a conversation we were having earlier?
They don't know what that
This is
referencing.
an inside joke.
And also, Stacy, if you're listening, no, it has nothing to do with you. They're just referencing some gross stuff.
Entirely.
For people watching this or listening to this podcast, we were having a discussion earlier this week about... Let's just get into this. This is stupid shit, but seeing as it's been brought up, we might as well talk about it. If you're stuck on an island, you could have a mermaid. Now, which half would be the fish? Crest?
I said I want the top half because I have a vagina, and then she has a vagina. What would we do? I want the boobs and stuff.
Oh, you want the human part to be the top half. I thought for a second you were saying you wanted the fish half, and I was like...
No, like, what am I going to do? Scissor it? No. I mean, not it, but you know what I mean.
No, we all know that you want to smooch fish face.
Well... It's like you guys said that the fish face would be sentient, so then that made me think should I be judging somebody for having a fish thing? But then they don't have hands or anything. What are they gonna do? Use their toes? No, that's gross.
It would just be the most useless creature though, because human legs are kind of okay for swimming, but definitely not fish caliber, and so it would be the shittiest parts of both human and fish for any kind of survival.
I'm saying, I don't even understand why that's even a problem. Would you rather have the top half or the bottom half of a mermaid? And I'm mostly the top half.
It's mostly just when people are confronted with the idea of a top half mermaid.
But Wanda brings up a good point. If it's a fish, top half, it can only survive in the water because it doesn't have lungs, right? It's got gills.
Well, no, because if it still has the same powers as a mermaid, I mean, if it's a mermaid, it can still talk. It can still breathe.
Oh my god!
Are they actually magical though, or are they just monsters?
I don't know. Let's pretend it's magical because both ways, because
then you don't have to have sex in the water, in the salty water, and that can be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to get salty.
Or sandy.
Okay. So now that we've got the icebreaker out of the way, Crest, you're having issues with Machinima, right?
Not anymore.
Woo!
Tell us everything that happened with Machinima and all the drama.
Everything that'll take days. But like I requested, my contract ends in this month, and back in February or May or something like that, I emailed Machinima saying, look, it's ending. I don't want it to renew because why would I do that? And so in May, they came back to me and said, we'll offer you 70% revenue share.
Wow.
Awesome. That sounds fantastic. Bye. And last month, it was like mid-September, they came back and said, we'll offer you 80%. And every time I said, nope, I decline. I just want my contract to end. Thank you very much. And then like yesterday or a couple of days ago, they said, we'll offer you 85%. And you can kind of tell they're slowing down.
Yeah.
They're not going much more higher than that. And then they, when I said no, they finally came back today. This was like 4 hours ago, and said, why? I actually read the email. It's pretty short, but they said like, why did you want to leave Machinima? Is there anything we can do to, to help out your concerns or something like that? Here we go. Hi, Brett. Can you help us understand your decision to leave Machinima? This will be helpful for us to properly address your concerns. Were you not happy with your last offer? Can you share with us what an ideal offer looks like to you? Your feedback is much appreciated.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but in case anybody's wondering, a 70% revenue share is very bad. Stacy and I get a 90% revenue share from our network, and we're being offered 95% from another network. So 70% is very bad, and they're treating him very badly. In case some people are wondering why Brett's upset. Anyway, continue, Brett. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah. And to jump on that, it's it hasn't been as bad recently because I've been avoiding all contact with the network for the last like 6 months. Ever since I said in my my request to be unrenewed or not be renewed. So they've been fine, but also I've completely avoided talking to them, emailing them, because I didn't want to cause anything that would cause them to be like, wait a second, we need to keep this guy, and then give me a hard time.
Well,
and so anyways, I sent a long email just like, because I had been really polite beforehand, as you all know, in the Skype chat. And I finally just like, you want to know? Here you go. And then it was a couple paragraphs.
Well, you got to explain to the audience, because so far, if somebody didn't know what they're talking about, they're like, wow, it sounds like they're really trying to keep you and treat you nice. Like, you got to tell them, like, all the dirt.
So, I guess for people that don't know what Machinima is, Machinima was like, making videos out of game footage, not Let's Play style, but like kind of interactive movies. Red vs. Blue is the basis of that. Machinima was, I guess, an amalgamation site. They took a bunch of Machinima artists and like made effectively a TV network out of them, and then started taking in like gamers and streamers, mostly like Call of Duty people, if I remember.
Yeah, because that was really popular when they were in their heyday, which was like middle of 2010.
Yeah.
Or a little bit between like beginning of 2010 to middle of 2010 was like, they were like, that's when Google gave them like, $30 million or whatever.
I didn't know about that.
Create a bunch of content. And then they gave it to them again, like beginning of 2012 or something like that.
Wow.
But yeah, Machinima, there's two things. There's Machinima, like the
thing.
Creating cinematics with actual like stories from game footage. And there's the company Machinima, which doesn't really do that anymore. But I think the idea was they wanted to gain a lot of that content. And so they brought on a lot of people to create that type of content.
Yep.
And Red vs. Blue, or Rooster Teeth, was under Machinima for a while.
Yes.
And they finally...
They got
this like beginning of last year? Before then?
Yeah.
They finally got out of contract or something like that?
I think they left Machinima beforehand, were independent for a little while, and then got picked up by...
Mako, isn't it? They're with Mako
I don't
now.
remember who picked them up. Is it?
In case you guys are wondering, I'm talking to the audience.
Yeah.
Machinima is also known for not paying their employees.
Yep. Locking people into perpetual contracts.
Locking people into perpetual contracts, which means that when your contract expires, there's an automatic renew. And what you have to do is, they don't tell you this, but you have to tell them way ahead of time that you don't want your contract renewed. And contracts can be up to like 3 years long. And they try to reel in these kids who are like 15 years old and don't know any better. And they give them a really bad split. and they don't do anything for the channel. They'll promise you things for your channel, but they won't. And this is what most networks are like. So if you guys are out there researching a network, there's very few networks that are very nice for smaller YouTubers.
It's also very important to note, it's 2015, you don't really need a network anymore. And this is kind of something that it's really confusing to explain to people. Because in my email I talked about, I've had subscribers email me and say, I just saw that you were with Machinima. I'm really sorry. And that's doesn't make me feel any better. But in 2010, because I signed with them in January of 2010, back then, there were like 5 networks.
And you needed them because there was like a lot of stuff happening.
If you were a gaming YouTube channel, you weren't going to get partnered. I mean, I know that sounds really weird to people who maybe got into YouTube recently or in the last few years. You didn't get partnered if you had gaming content.
Partnered means that you can make money off your videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, back then you had to submit a form. You had to wait 3 months for YouTube or Google to come back to you and say, no. And that's how it was. And you had to wait another 3 months before you could submit again. And back then, the only channels that really got partnered were sketch comedy channels because they had all the rights to their content pretty much, unless they used, music or something. But yeah, gaming content, there was, I don't know, I thought of maybe 2 channels that were partnered out of thousands.
Yeah.
Because it was just not something you did. The only way you got partnered in those years, you joined a network because they bypassed that whole system. So Machinima for me was my way of getting partnered. And back then you had TGS, that was before it was Polaris, who were notoriously difficult to get into. Before you even considered back then, it was you get 350,000 subscribers and we'll consider you. And so Machinima was still difficult to get into, but they were much, much easier. Because at the time I had 1,500 subscribers that I got into then. But as far as the perpetual thing, it's even worse than that. In their contract, there was no expiration. It wasn't that it was renewed. The contract said...
Forever.
We own you.
In English, yeah. It said this contract basically doesn't expire. It's in... we own your channel and your content. Or they don't own your content, but they own exclusive rights to monetize it via royalties.
Don't they monetize your content for you, without even asking?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's, for me, over the last few months, I can't disable monetization on videos anymore. Even if I just want to run something unlisted, to send to a friend or something. I have to use a separate channel because I don't know if it's Machinima doing it or it's a bug with YouTube. Could be both.
Well, I don't have that problem.
It's definitely Machinima.
It's definitely that.
All right. Because there was an issue a while ago where you, if you turned off embedding in a video, you couldn't turn it back on. And when I launched my last interstate video, I turned off embedding, thinking that people could embed it, and then it would tell them, hey, click on the link to actually go to the video page, because I wanted people to actually see the video on the page. But anyways, yeah, the contracts were perpetual. And then in the huge fallout from that was late 2011 or so. It was in the year 2011 when Machinima actually started a huge movement to get people onto timed contracts. It ranged from 1 to 3 to 5 years. And I had someone from Machinima come to me and say, look, we have this amendment for you. We really need you to sign it. And it was 3 years. And I remember right after I signed it, it was like, wait, did I just sign a 3-year amendment? What the hell is wrong with me? But it was too late. And that was, just thinking about 3 years ago was crazy because I was in the middle of a job that I wasn't doing very well at. So I was probably just not in the best mindset when I signed that. And I think the thing is, I was 20, 22, 23 then. Machinima signs it people that are 15, like you said. And these kids will just show it to their dad or their mom or something like, Mom, does this look right to you? But they have no idea.
Yeah, they don't even
they
really
get
understand
locked in
YouTube.
For years and years and years.
And then what happened with networks, from my experience, is that a lot of networks decided, we're just going to get people who have 300 subscribers, and even though they make $8 a month, we're going to take 30% of that, and that spread across thousands of channels that we just take in, and we're like, yeah, we're totally going to help you, blah, 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 blah. This is the lower ranking network towards Polaris, and we'll help you get there. And then they never do, and they never help you, and they never give you any resources or anything. And they just take your money, and then they try to, like, rile you in.
Yeah, keep you there. I had a friend who left a network, and they didn't let him go. They're like, yeah, you're gone, bye. And they just kept taking his ad for a while. Because they weren't going to file the paperwork. And then when he signed a new network...
I've heard of that happening, and then they're not paying him because he's technically not connected.
Yep.
But billing wise, as far as YouTube is concerned, they're still taking his money.
People wonder why I'm so aggressive when I have issues like this. It's because if you're not, like, in people's faces, they don't care. Which is why as soon as somebody messes with me, I'm like, not like a human, like a network, guys. Like, I got
they're
those
not human.
false claims on my Life is Strange videos, and I know that it seems like, oh, Mari just wants her money for her videos, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, because...
Of course you want your money for your videos.
Yeah, I do want my money, but usually if I get a claim from the person who made the game, I'm like, okay, I respect you, and I, like, respect your creation. But this was from a network that never even did it, and it got mistakenly uploaded to their library. But the thing is, I researched it. They had been having that problem since at least the 4th. And I was like, okay, so it's like the 11th today. No. It had been over a week. And nothing had been done for any of these smaller channels who had gotten their videos claimed. And then I got my video claimed, and you can tell that this was not...
We should
like
probably
an accident.
We should probably back up for a second and explain, because you kind of jumped into this one, and we all know this.
Okay, what do you want me to explain?
I was just gonna say, so for people who aren't aware of the situation, Mari does a lot of Life is Strange, and got copyright claimed, right? Not a strike.
Not a strike. I got a claim, which means that the network Federation Leaderboard, somebody who did a Let's Play or did a clip of that game checked the wrong box, quote unquote, and that got uploaded to their automated copyright claim library, which means that YouTube will go through all the videos on their database, see if it matches up with that video, and then be like, okay, here's a claim, and you can dispute it. And usually a lot of companies will not even respond for over a month, and during that month, they take all of your ad revenue, and they had put ads on my video. So I'm like, oh, you're stealing my shit and you're stealing Don't Nod shit. Like, I don't think so. And the worst part is YouTube doesn't have it in a separate account. So the moment that dispute is gone and it's cleared, you don't get that money back. See, the network keeps it. And the reason why I made such a huge stink about it is because I researched and saw all these other threads of people being like, do you know what Federation blah 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 is? Like, they claimed my Life is Strange video all the way back to the 4th. And then I was complaining yesterday or 2 days ago, and I was like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be like, contact them via Twitter, via email, make a Tumblr post, show it on Twitter, and contact the Life is Strange devs. And guess what? That got solved in a matter of 3 hours. 3 hours, and they were like, oh, I'm sorry, we didn't know, blah blah blah, we're fixing all of that. And I was like, how come you didn't do anything when other people were disputing your things, and you still haven't taken that out of your automated claim library in over a week? Just uncheck the box if it's just that simple of a problem, because I guarantee you there's thousands of channels that you've already claimed who just accepted it because they don't understand what it is. So if you conveniently mistakenly put a video in there that doesn't belong to you, that's bullshit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's bad business more than anything. I mean, if you claim something that you just simply don't own, I mean I bet you contacted the game developer as well. That's
I contacted Don't Nod. I called them out on Twitter, called them out on Tumblr, and they got a lot of reblogs. And the only reason something was done about it is because a lot of people saw it and cared. If I had politely gone oh, can you dispute this? They would have only unlocked my video and then continued to silently take it from other people.
Mm.
So that's why I'm always a huge bitch.
You need to make a huge stink on social media, which we've talked about before, is for some reason, if you talk directly to that party, it seems like nothing gets done. It's only when you try to publicly shame them,
Yeah.
that's when they care, which kind of makes sense, but it's kind of a shame.
Yeah, if you just email them, they're like, I don't care. And like I see it happen to smaller YouTubers, and I'm like, oh, I'll say something. Like I remember somebody made a thread about RPM and being like, I can't get out. Like they won't reply to my emails. Like
Yeah,
I keep trying to. And then I was like, oh, I'll just make a tweet on Twitter being like, hey, what's going on with this? Blah, blah, blah. They responded to that thread within 20 minutes and resolved it. And this guy had been trying to get help for over a month. And I was like, oh, I see how it is because I have a lot of followers. You don't want to look bad. Okay.
Pretty much.
I think part of it is also it just showed up on our Let's Play as well. Like, fairly large.
That thread was old. And then I was like doing it, and they responded right away.
I can
as
see
soon
that.
as I did that.
Yes, so networks can be very nice, or they can make your life hell, because they just have so much control over your channel. In some ways, they have more like destructive control over your channel than you do. Like you can delete all your videos, but then they can.
There are networks that are great, though. There are ones.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's a small number.
I've been very happy with Curse. I know Polaris is good but creepy.
Yeah.
I know the scene. So Polaris. I mean, you've heard of Game Grumps, correct? Obviously.
Yeah.
You know of
Whoa. Sorry.
They deleted
Something
their
knocked over.
videos without asking,
Yep.
right?
Yeah. Because they were singing. I don't know who they were singing. Like whose song they were singing.
You can get copyright strikes for singing a song in videos now.
Yeah. So Polaris stepped in and didn't consult with them, didn't talk to them, didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Just deleted their videos.
Didn't even privatize them, I believe.
Yeah.
Just deleted them.
Yeah, and like good for the Game Grumps for having like massive amounts of backups and stuff. But they didn't find out until after Polaris had done this. And this wasn't like just one video. This was like 5. It was like more than a couple, and with Game Grumps that's, thousands of dollars worth of views and footage lost. And generally, since all their stuff is serial, that's like right in the middle of a series. So if you went Pokemon episode 20, 21, 25, because I think that's actually what happened. And so for the next couple, I think the next month or so, they would start singing and then have to stop it themselves and whatever. I think eventually Polaris reversed it. I guess they spoke with YouTube or something, but it was just this like creepy event of just like, they had no control. It was their content, but Polaris is like, nope, we're the boss here. We own you.
Yeah, and I think like a really good example of that is back to Machinima. And this wasn't only Machinima, but this was maybe like end of last year. Machinima, because that's the only experience I have, they had a new initiative to where, hey, we're going to automatically turn on mid-rolls for all your videos if they're over 10 minutes. And this was, I believe it was partially YouTube's decision as well, because they were working on a new, like, where to put mid-rolls algorithm. But you would find videos that were an hour long.
That never happened to me.
What network are you with?
Curse. I'm saying that it probably doesn't have anything to do with YouTube. I don't have anything happening to my videos where they automatically get turned into anything.
Right. I think it was the network's decision, but I believe that YouTube was introducing a new algorithm, and Machinima was like, "We're going to test this on our entire network."
Without asking.
I think that's what it was, because YouTube can automatically place mid-rolls, I believe. But anyways, you would find a video, and if you remember, sometimes you would find people complaining like, wow, this video has like 300 ads in an hour. And that's because some networks, especially Machinima, automatically turn them on. And here's the worst part. When I was talking about like destructive power, Machinima can turn on mid-rolls for all your videos basically with one click. If you're a content creator, you can't do that. You can't turn them off in one click is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, we have to go through every single video.
I had to go through like 700 videos over a few weeks and remove all mid-rolls from them because you can't do that in bulk. And that, I don't know if it's the case right now, but back then, YouTube does have these bulk controls and bulk actions. Mid-rolls wasn't part of that. You either turned ads off or you turned ads on, but you couldn't just say turn mid-rolls off. And that was a good example of how networks have like a lot of administrative control over your channel. And sometimes they have control that you don't have, which is even worse because they can do that thing where it's like, yeah, but we haven't noticed much of difference in viewer retention. Even though there's like 40 mid-rolls in this 30-minute video, or something like that. And yeah, it was incredibly... They didn't consult anybody. That was the thing. It was an opt-out situation where you had an email and say, no, I don't want you to do this. But they only told you about it opt-out like 3 weeks after they did it. So it was already active on every channel. And then you had to email them to get them to get rid of it. But of course, I emailed them, and it took about 3 months for them to say, oh, this isn't an issue anymore, so I don't know why you emailed.
The moral of the story is, if you want to be in a network, they need to offer you a lot of things. They need to offer you free music at the very least, and sound effects. I mean, that's just basic stuff by now. Like, if they don't give that to you, get out of there.
Yeah, and the fact that you can find that by yourself for free, royalty free, is not really that much of a pull, honestly.
And you should get at least 85%. Like, I can understand if you're a smaller channel and you have like 300 subscribers, like, don't even join a network. You don't need it.
Yeah, I didn't bother until I hit 1,000.
But like, you should be getting at least 85%. They should be offering you like something good, like a contact who you can talk to and stuff. And you have to be able to see the contract before you sign it. Any sort of automated like contract signing, like, should be aware of, unless it's with Curse. Like, Curse is actually a really good network. They just leave you alone, and if you have a problem, they help you.
Yeah, it's also really important that you can leave whenever the hell you want.
Yes.
Probably the most important thing.
Yeah. Do not sign a contract. If you want to sign a contract, don't sign one that's anywhere more than a year.
Yeah.
I would say any more than 6 months, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know what networks offer a 6 month contract.
I have a network offering me like a pretty good deal, but you know how, like, I'm like nervous because they want us to sign like 1 year, and we're like, oh, I don't know, like, what if you ruin our lives? But they're offering us such good stuff. They're offering us 95% cut, promotion deals, and like collaborations, and better CPM, and like getting us sponsorships and stuff. And it's like, it seems really good. And we're gonna have a contact at the company, which is like nice, but it's like, you want me to sign a 1 year contract? What if you ruin my life? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's also good to say, like, don't be afraid to email them and say, you know, I don't really like this aspect of the contract. Is this something we have some movement on?
Yeah, Stacy has like a email chain 10 pages long of her negotiating our contract with them right now, like being like, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? Like,
yeah, it is a negotiation. So, yeah.
And if they want you, they will work with you. Mm-hmm. Do not be afraid to say, you know, you sound really great, but right now I don't think that contract is really beneficial to me. Mm-hmm. Like, there are so many networks out there, and if they want you, they'll work with you. And also, don't listen to if you get a message that says, hey, we see you have great content, we want you to join TGN or whatever.
No.
Just block those people off your channel and don't reply to them.
Yep.
Because those go out in bulk.
Yep. And
they're all like bot based.
Yeah. Like, sometimes I get content that's like, we want your channel because it features guy-only content, like gaming and cars. And I'm like, you're an idiot.
We see you have a great interest in video games. We would love to add you.
Also cars. How many cars are on your channel, Murray? How many cars are on your channel? Like,
lots of cars and car babes.
Lesbian cars.
Lesbian cars. Cars.
You did the game where you have sex with a gay car, right?
Is there a game where you can do that?
Yeah, it's one of Robert Yang's.
Where can I play it?
I believed you for like half a second. Like,
no, it's true.
Really? You can have Oh wait, no, there is that game where you have sex with your car.
Yeah. Oh man, what's it called? It's called
Shift.
Stick Shift. Yeah.
There's also a documentary about that.
A documentary about stick shift or about having sex with your car?
Is this the guy that did the popsicle?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's made Cobra Club,
Makes
which is a
sense.
game about dick
Dick
pics.
pics.
Succulent, which is the popsicle
Succulent
one.
is
Yeah.
a popsicle. There's another
Back
one
to
where
dicks.
you like give a hand job in the shower or something.
Oh,
I
rinse
haven't-
and repeat. That's the new one.
Yeah, I haven't played it yet because I broke it.
Oh.
Broke the
Hurt Me
dick.
Plenty, which
Stick
is a
shift.
spanking one.
Oh yeah, it hurt me plenty.
You can play that with the hand wavy thing. What's that called? The
And join a network that lets you play these games.
Yeah.
I just looked up Robert Yang just to see who the heck this guy was. Apparently he's a game design teacher at NYU.
Of
Yeah.
course he is.
This guy teaches
I'm going back to school.
students.
Yep.
That's great.
So-
You didn't know who Robert Yang is? Your
I-
life is about to change.
I mean, I knew of his games. I didn't know who he was.
Life is changed.
Shut up.
Episode 5.
Shut up.
Theory. Twice as many theory episodes as there are actually episodes. Gotta get them all in.
Has
post
everyone
them
here
all.
played Life is Strange?
I have not yet.
Nope.
Who's
I've played the first chapter.
you're all the worst.
I don't have time for serialized games.
You do have time.
The
I could go for cereal.
the closest game I have played to Life is Strange was Until Dawn, and I could not deal with it.
Okay, Until Dawn and Life is Strange are two completely different things. I don't understand why people think they're the
No.
same. One has good writing, and the other was written by a guy who makes B horror movies, okay? They're completely different. Just because they have teenagers and choice in it doesn't mean they're the same at all, okay?
But Mari, my point is that is the literal closest game I have played to Life is Strange ever. So,
So
I don't
you're in a
play
real
those games.
bind.
I mean, I play roguelikes. I don't give a shit about real people or drama. They shoot
It's
things
roguelike.
and they explode, and it's good. Can you do that in Life is Strange?
Well, actually, usually I'm like, I need a game that has a really good story and that makes me think. But lately I've been like really just pissed off all the time, and I was like, it's because I haven't played a video game by myself in a long time. I've always been like let's playing it or like talking to people, and I honestly I hate interacting with people. I do it because I think it feels good, but really it just drains me.
Oh, how
Yeah.
much do you hate this podcast right now then?
No, actually, I've been by myself all day, so then now I have the energy to do this podcast.
Oh, well, thanks.
Fair enough.
I saved it all up. And then I've been playing Valkyrie,
Valkyria Chronicles.
Valkyrie, that.
Yeah.
Chronicles. The first one. I know that there's a second and third one, but I haven't played them. And it's really fun, and the story is so horrible that I skip over it, which I never ever do. I never skip stories in video games, but this is so
It's
like anime.
I've been playing it recently as well. It's like Metal Gear Solid almost levels of cutscene bullshit. Right?
Art.
Metal Gear
Well,
floppy.
Yeah, but it's
I
like
think I need to
it'll be
play this
like-
game.
it'll be like I mean like I appreciate the nuances and the political commentary and blah 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 blah, but they put so much like anime weirdness in there where I'm like, okay, please stop. Stop it.
Yeah, suddenly magic, right?
It'll be like, oh yeah, like here's the intricacies of what racism is against, and it'll be like, and like themes of anti-Semitism and stuff. And then the next scene will be like, I just fell over. Oh no, you see my crotch. Also, this pig has wings, and I'm dying. Oh no, all these people died, and now my daughter's dead. Whoops!
But look at this
time
hot
to go
soldier.
into the cafeteria and have blushings and stuff. I guess whatever.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Gameplay's alright though.
No, I love the gameplay.
Yeah, it's cool strategy stuff.
This is the first time I think ever where I've been like, oh god, let's get out of this story and get back to the game. Usually I'm like, I'm ready for the story now. Like I'm so ready to interpret this, but I don't give a shit about Valkyria Chronicles. Sorry to go on a tangent. What were we
That's all right.
talking?
So,
I was actually.
I think we're.
I was gonna say if you like Valkyria Chronicles, you might like the Disgaea games if you've ever played them.
Disgaea? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
This guy.
How do you spell that?
Disgaea.
I thought it was like Disgaea.
I have no idea. I
Are you
assume
talking about this guy over here?
I assume it's Disgaea as in like, Gaia the planet, but it's spelled weird. But I could be wrong. I totally could be. But I picked up the 5th version. The 5th one? I don't know. Recently, and it's really, really fun.
Does it also have cutscene bullshit?
I mean, so I don't know about...
I like cutscene bullshit. I just don't like it when it's too anime.
Oh, well...
So like the tone of
So
it
this is
It
going
has
to
to
be-
be a
this-
certain type of anime where it's like it's like, okay, I know that I'm anime, and I'm like, okay, we
Yeah.
know.
This one...
That's
this
secret
one...
nod.
so anime.
I will admit this one is very anime, but it's so self-aware that, like, one of the characters is literally just The Rock.
I'm looking at images
I liked,
right now, and
High
everything's very
School of the-
spiky.
I like High School of the Dead, and I like K-dramas.
Oh, God.
Like,
High School of the
High School
You
of
Dead.
the
recommended High School of the Dead to me ages ago. I watched it, and it's literally just
Boobs.
zombie blood, guts, explosions, boobs, crotch shot, and it's like zombies
there's one part
through the
where
legs.
no, there's one part where a bullet goes, and then the
the
boobs
boobs
are going in
warp
two
around
different
it.
directions.
Yeah.
The bullet goes
Yeah,
through
and
where the
it goes-
boobs are. It's like, I don't even know how to explain but this girl's boobs are like flopping in opposite directions, and the bullet goes like, you know how like Spider-Man will dodge a bullet? It's like if these boobs were Spider-Man,
Yeah,
and then it like
Spider boobs.
kills them.
I was
Great.
I was just watching that. I saw that GIF on Reddit a year or two ago, and I was just like, if they didn't have crazy anime boob physics, that would really suck.
Oh, what? The boobs?
Well, you just have the bullet go straight through both boobs, and it's like, well, that's gonna hurt a lot.
oh my goodness.
She got a reduction.
Disgaea has one of those basically nudie 13-year-old characters in it.
I
What?
hate that. It's so creepy.
Which one?
You know,
Oh, but there's also a naked 13-year-old boy in it, so that's
it's
fine.
so
right?
creepy.
Oh, you're
Because
you're
it's
thinking
like-
about the first one, yeah.
No,
I don't
'cause,
know,
like,
I'm just on
you-
image search.
You play the game and you're like, I guess I can ignore this. But no, it's creepy because there really is a demographic for creepy pedophile weirdos. And like, you see them on forums being like, ugh, like, why does everybody hate me for like being a creepy weirdo? I'm like, 'cause you're a creepy weirdo. God, just look at adults. Like, I look at weird shit, I read fan fiction, and I like do trashy shit, but it's like, come on, man. Weird.
There's a line.
Yeah,
Well
there's a
said.
line. It's creepy and weird. Anime was a mistake.
Oh shit!
love that.
We're gonna get really
Anime was a mistake.
okay.
Otaku is trash.
Don't talk about anime near Mari. Check. Got it.
I love anime and I hate anime
Triple
at the
check.
same time. It's like, you know,
Adding another
Yeah.
check.
sometimes, because my boyfriend, he's like, oh, I want to find like anime. I'm like, okay, well, you're 27. And he was like, I want to find anime like Death Note or like other animes. I'm like, there's like literally one anime that's like Death Note, and that's Death Note, and every other anime sucks. Like, that's it. There's no good ones.
Yeah. I like
Yeah,
Gintama, but it doesn't
actually-
really count.
I like Evangelion, but I haven't watched it in ages. And then I went back after like seeing it 2 years, and then I watched the film, and I was so confused.
Yeah.
I watched like some later version of Evangelion with a character named Mari. I was just like Googling Mari, and you know, Evangelion came up. Clicked on it, and she like falls out of the sky with her crotch on this guy's face, and then she like smells them and walks away. I was like, this is anime. This is Evangelion. This is what everyone's been telling me is the greatest anime ever.
It's not.
Okay.
That was you though, right?
What?
In that anime, that was you.
Well, yeah, it was me. They hired me and stuff to do the motion actions and shit, but like, come on.
As someone who watches no anime, I am completely out of my element right now.
You
Shall
won't
we-
watch
I have-
any
I-
anime?
Okay. Shall we talk about video games again instead of anime games?
Oh, okay.
Cool.
I have no idea what's
The
going on.
beginner's guide.
Yeah, we should probably talk about that one.
Oh boy.
Can we,
What a
seriously,
topic
can
change.
we save that until next time? I promise I will play it.
No,
Okay.
you're not.
Oh, you
you
haven't
just
played it yet?
lied.
How about
No.
okay? Here's the promise. If Josh hasn't played it by next week, we talk about it anyway.
Yeah.
Sucks to be.
I'm
you.
okay with that.
There we go.
That's cool.
Okay.
That's
how about
like a super incentive.
How
right
about
now.
Albino Lullaby? I know at least Mari and Brett, you guys have played it.
Yeah, it's so
Oh, yeah.
underrated. Nobody
I
is
was
playing
floored.
it,
Yeah, that
but
was.
it's so good.
It's
Yeah, I like.
my second favorite horror game.
It's really good. Like, it's kind of okay. So people who play it, if you don't pay attention, you kind of think it's silly.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm
The
burping.
plot, if you're just sprinting through the game, is dumb.
No,
if you,
it's not actually
well-
dumb because it seems silly. But if you actually stop and read the notes and listen
Well,
to,
yeah, that's why I said if you're
what they're
sprinting through it,
saying.
it seems dumb.
Oh, okay.
Because then you miss
Sorry.
the.
Yeah, it's a game that changes context if you take your time.
Yeah.
I found.
Because you're
When I just went slow and listened to stuff and just didn't move, I just took my time. It was really kind of atmospheric.
Yeah.
And you kind of listen to what everyone is, their
saying-
kind of perspective on it.
Well,
Definitely.
like, my interpretation is that at the beginning of the game, you get in a car crash and you go into, like, a coma or something. Because it seems like they're interpreting the hospital of some sort. And I'm not going to call it a dying dream, quote unquote, but I think they're probably having sort of messed up coma dreams and stuff. And
What
they're, like,
if-
processing some sort of terrible trauma that they did.
What if it's not even a hospital per se, but like an outpatient facility for people that are so brain damaged they can't function?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that would
like,
explain all the straitjackets and the weirdness to it. Because it didn't feel like a standard facility. It felt like an old style
Well,
crazy house.
One flew over
I-
the cuckoo's nest kind of mental
Yeah, exactly.
illness facility kind of
Yeah.
thing.
I don't think that the person is mentally ill, but I think that your view is valid. I do. This is just what I think is like. This is all just a dream that like is happening very quickly, and and they're processing it very quickly, and they're probably something fucked up is happening, and something fucked up happened to them a long time ago, and I don't know exactly what's going on in the real world. All I know is that whatever happened to this person is probably the most fucked up thing that's ever happened. Ever.
Yeah.
And to point out, we don't know why or what it is because it's episodic.
Yeah. I
And
don't
we're going to find out.
I don't like that about the game, actually. I wish they had delayed the release of episode 1 and
So you could get.
brought it closer. This is part of the reason why I don't play games like Life is Strange or any of the Telltale games. Because if it is going to be episodic, I prefer it if it's close together.
Well, Life is Strange was actually very close together.
When was the last chapter released for it?
It's supposed to be 6 to 8 weeks apart, but they put extra time into
The last one?
the last one because now they have money.
Yeah. Wasn't
Because
it
a
like a
bunch of people
Square
bought the
Enix
game.
game, though?
It is, but they're still.
Yeah.
It was a new IP and blah 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 blah. But and also now they're on vacation in America.
Well,
But they're releasing it now.
later
But I think
this
part
week?
of the reason why Life is Strange was so successful, along with the good storytelling and stuff, was that they tried to keep it close together, but still enough time because it is a mystery game.
Yeah.
And they did design it. They designed the story to be episodic. It wasn't just a story cut up into pieces. They wanted you to be like, what is going on? What's going to happen? Like, they put hints everywhere. They put little, like, messages and stuff.
We're talking about Life is Strange?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They, like, put messages in there being like, this is the guy. Like, if you think about it, blah, 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 blah. You know?
Left notes for you.
Yeah, I guess I don't mind that style. I just hate waiting.
I love waiting. Isn't that weird?
That's why
I
I love
guess-
Netflix. I can just marathon Orange is the New Black when it comes out. It's just so easy.
I like waiting because it forces me to think.
I guess I can respect that, but at the same time, I hate like a delay. I hate waiting a long time. So like I read a lot of webcomics, but really what I do is I have a list that counts how many pages I've missed since. And when they tick up to like 50 or 100, I'm like, all right, time to binge this and like actually immerse myself in it. Because I find most episodic games are too short. Albino Lullaby was 2 hours. That was comically short for me to really like sink my teeth into. Compared to what
which, like in my experience, is actually kind of long for kind of indie episodic games. And I was about to say, I agree with Mari and you, Wander, as far as episodic goes, in a weird way, because like what she's talking about, where it's you have to wait because it really makes you like appreciate it or think about it, works if the game's good. And in my experience, I've looked at a few episodic games, and every episode it's terrible because it's written like what you were saying, Wander, before, is like it feels like a story that was designed to be one piece, you know, like chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. But then you're taking this thing and splitting it up to 5 parts, and the first episode still has to have an arc for it to have some sort of satisfying story to it. But it feels like I just spent 50 minutes and somehow nothing happened in 50 minutes.
Yep.
And it makes no sense.
And now I have to wait for 3 months for the next one.
And
I'm mainly speaking about the detail.
Yeah.
Well, so at least it's not Kentucky Route Zero, where the time between episodes is years.
I will admit, I that was the first episodic game I ever played, and so as such, I have a lot of pent-up bitterness directed towards episodic games to begin with.
Well, one thing I've learned, not being like I'm so fucking wise, guys, but one thing I've tried to tell myself is that I would rather wait as long as it takes to have a game that makes me happy. Because I've had so many games that I really looked forward to that were rushed and underdeveloped, underfunded, and just thrown out the door just to appease fans saying, where the fuck is my game? Like, I can't believe you delayed it. You lied to us, blah, 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 blah. Like, I would rather wait and get a good game because of what happened to Mass Effect 3, Dragon Age 2, and many, many other games, Battlefield 4. Like, I would wait.
It's taken about 2 years, but Battlefield 4 is actually good now.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would rather put the time in and have a good memory forever than have it now and be disappointed forever.
Wasn't there I don't know if it was Gabe Newell or maybe someone from Nintendo, but it was
Nintendo.
Oh, wasn't
It's Nintendo.
Yeah.
How
Okay,
dare you? God, shut up about Gabe. Everyone's get off his dick.
We're talking about dicks again.
Well, get off of it.
But yeah, like a delayed game is eventually good, but a bad game or a rushed game or something like that is bad forever.
Yeah.
A bad game is bad forever.
Yeah, that's a Nintendo saying, and it is so on point.
It's incredibly true, but on the other hand, something I just thought of for episodic games is, like, from a PR perspective, like, you've got people talking about it for months and months and months, and if
a
you
lot
just
longer.
pick a game and then put it out, that's maybe a month. If it's a super long game, then, you know, maybe half a year. But if you have something smaller and you spread it out, and you actually follow a schedule like Life is Strange, people expect it, they know when it's coming, sort of thing, and they get excited for it, and then you can really like get people into it in a longer form fashion, and like with one hit and it's done kind of games that just doesn't happen.
No, that's true. I have heard more about Life is Strange than I've heard about any other AAA game this year. But then
that's because you follow Mari on Twitter.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is the qualifying thing there. It's like, you know what? In retrospect, it's probably just her.
No, it did sell 1 million copies.
Yeah,
it's everywhere.
Over the whole series or first episode? What do you mean, 1 million of what, though?
Yeah, it'd be very easy to sell 1 million of the first episode, seeing as it's, what, like $2?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, if it's 1 million episodes, and I don't know how many there are, but that can fudge the numbers a bit.
Yeah, that can bloat it really hard. Especially because, like, how many episodes of not episodes? How many copies of Grand Theft Auto 5 have sold at this point? It was like
5 billion or something. Not billion, sorry. Like 10 million.
I think it's at least 6 billion.
Yep. Every single person in the world, even kids without computers or the internet, have Grand Theft Auto 5. It's impressive.
And that's a really great example of a game that was delayed. And even though like the online was really shaky, the PC port is so damn good. Especially for single player.
So I don't
compare. What
did you
mainly like compare to GTA 4?
It's true. Compared to GTA 4, it's a masterpiece. But do you remember when we played together and I kept complaining, or were you too focused on blowing me out of the sky? Because I had visual tearing out the wazoo. Lagged horribly. It was
with VSync.
VSync and without VSync, it didn't matter. Like the game ran terribly. Anytime we were flying, I would just randomly crash because my plane would fall out of the sky. Because physics would turn off.
It still had a lot of technical issues, but I mainly like GTA 4. I guess I wasn't really active too much when that came out, but like even now, I played it on my newer video card, my 980 Ti. It runs like shit, and like it's such an overpowered computer. But when GTA 5 released, besides those bugs, they still had to release a bunch of patches, and online is somehow worse than release, but like the delay definitely made it much more competent.
It's true.
Port overall. The same with like Witcher 3. That again did have like issues depending on your build, but that was a really solid launch.
It was. But I mean, that's a good studio. That's kind of an interesting thing, actually.
You know what really sucks though is that I keep wanting to like The Witcher, but then I have all these like, everyone's like, it's such a good studio. I'm like, they don't care about diversity, and I'm like the one asshole sitting there being like, not that great, No,
you're perfectly right, and they listened, because if you've seen, well, I've only seen screenshots so far of the expansion pack, Hearts of Stone, something like that.
Heart of Stone. Yeah.
It has people of color in it. It's got lots more women who aren't prostitutes in it, and well, I can hear the disappointment in your voice, but no, I think Mari, like people like Mari and a whole bunch of really cool people on Twitter, like pointing it out, not necessarily complaining, because I love the game and I have exactly the same problems with
I respect them as a studio.
Yeah, but it's fair to point out and criticize and say, hey, this is a concern about your fantasy thing that has dragons in it, but not black people?
I was actually going to interject about that one. The original like justification for it was, if I remember right, I mean, for starters, it's like a Polish studio. There aren't a whole lot of people, black people, period, in Poland. So I can see like the ease of making that mistake, because you just kind of end up in this like weird echo chamber. But I think the other one was like in the book series, there aren't either. So I feel like the developers got a fair amount of flack for what really was the author's fault.
Yeah. I think what people... Okay, so it's literally nobody can be correct because it's just like a circular argument, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What people find annoying in just fantasy settings overall is that they will depict the issues of minorities without actually showing minorities. That instead of a minority, they'll show elves or orcs or like dark elves and stuff. And so like growing up, I would always be like, oh, I'll play as the elf because the elf is the Asian people. Like, that's just how I was. I was like, I'm Asian. I want to be me. I'm going to be an elf. And then I was like, wait a fucking second. I want to be like...
I want to be an Asian chick.
I want to be either an Asian person. If I want to be an elf, that's cool too. Like, that's a fantasy thing. But like, if I'm going to have somebody go through the issues that I go through, how come I can't actually have someone who's like me in there? How come we can't actually have minority human races in the game, but we can take what their problems are and make a cool story about it. Like, how come you can take that, but I can't actually be in it? You know?
I think a lot of those problems are kind of innate to human, like, the way humans work, in a way. Like, those problems are going to arise regardless of
yeah, but I'm
the
saying
reality of
is that these are the issues. They'll be like, oh yeah, like oppression and stuff. They'll take direct allegories to real life from what's happening in real life and then just erase the part where who it's happening to and replace it with elves or orcs or dwarves. You know what I mean? That's kind of annoying.
Yeah, and it's one. I mean,
where you'll
can
take
put
my
something
pain,
out
but
like
you
that.
won't take me.
Yeah. And I think it's sorry, I keep interrupting you.
Sorry, I'm not trying to like be like, oh, Project CD Red are like terrible people, blah 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 blah. Because I know that it's done by everybody, so nobody even knows that they're doing it. But I can understand why people get annoyed. Anyway, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
No, that's all right. I was just going to add a little bit to that. It's like they put out a thing, they made what we interpret as a mistake. And then it's then their job to respond to that in whatever capacity they feel is right, whether that's acting on it or not. And it does seem like they've acted on it, which is like that's a good thing. And especially like BioWare putting in all sorts of character customization options, and then like even with the newest Telltale story mode Microsoft, I guess it is Microsoft now. Minecraft thing having
you can play a female or
a
a male
variety
character.
of skin colors, and the female character is default. It's like above the male character in the character selection screen, which it's a teeny tiny thing, but you don't think about it until either like it becomes an issue to you, or like it happens in a game and you're like, oh, well, it doesn't affect me, but that's cool if like someone sees that and then they're like, oh yeah, I can be the default character. That's cool. And then, you know, it makes people happy and stuff. And so I think video games are cool. Yeah.
I'm going to go back to whining here, but in kind of response to that, with the default female character, I don't know if any of you guys played the game Bound by Flame, but I was like, all right, you know, I've played a lot of male characters. Let's play a female character for once. And I had my fiance with me. We were co-commentating through it, and 45 minutes in, she's like, all right, we're stopping. We're remaking this character as a dude, because the voice acting was just so bad and flat with the female voice actor that it was just like, the Wander is willing, but the game is not effectively, and it's just it's one of those interesting barriers where it's like, I hope that's mostly an isolated case, but every once in a while I do run into a female voice actress that's either just, what is it, Tara? No, it's not Tara Strong. Who's the voice actress for FemShep again, Mari?
Yeah.
Jennifer Hale.
Okay, yeah, I'm getting really sick of her voice, admittedly, but I feel
she's
bad.
really good though, and I think that's
she's the gold
like
standard, and that's
the same
problem.
thing, but
That's
opposite.
why she's
for,
used so much.
for Mass
Well,
Effect.
that's like saying Troy Barker's being used too much.
Oh yeah, I hate
Or what's his name? Nathan Drake.
Nolan North, I think.
Yeah, Mr. Bloomin' North, as good as he is everywhere.
Yes,
And
I
please stop.
on one hand, I liked him replacing Dinklage in Destiny. On the other hand, I really wish they had found somebody that wasn't Nolan North.
But now you can't call it the Dinklebot.
Yeah, well, now it's the Nolan Droid, which kind of works as well, but still.
Nah, Dinklebot's nicer to say.
I was gonna say, like, on the Bound by Flame point, because I had a load of time in that game, and I have like a 45-minute review of that. But like for the voice acting, it's pretty terrible. But I would say it's mainly to do with the writing. The writing is just horrible.
Well, in that case, the
Throughout the
female
entire
voice
game.
actress was not emotive. The
Yeah,
male
but I
voice
think
actor
the material
was much
wasn't-
more emotive than the female was.
I
Yeah.
like the first like 3 hours of the game, the voice actress is either she's not delivering the lines right, or the person who was supervising just like, yeah, it's fine. Which I think is like more likely in I have nothing to back that up. That's just like my opinion. Is that I feel like given the way the game was, I think it's more than likely like they just didn't care and didn't have her redo it. Like, could you maybe do that more emotive? And they're like, whatever. It doesn't care. No one's gonna play the female character anyways.
That game probably had the same as the Sonic Adventure 1 voice acting. Did you ever hear about that? Do you know what I'm talking about or no?
No.
Okay,
was
so
that
for
on
Sonic
Dreamcast?
Adventure 1, it was Dreamcast, yeah.
Okay, then I played that, but that was still a long time ago.
So for the voice acting for that game, I don't know what they did with the Japanese ones, but for the English ones, they literally brought them into a room, handed them the script, and told them to go.
For what?
So they were just given lines, individual lines. Like, even in, like, sentences and monologues, you can tell that they were recorded at different times. Because the characters will, like, pause awkwardly. Well, like, it waits for it to lip sync. And even when they're, like, talking to each other, it just sounds like they're yelling into the void. And then somebody responds backwards.
What game is this?
Sonic Adventure 1.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, like...
I must have been too young to notice how that was.
Well,
I mean, it was
games back then were a
1999.
little, like, okay. Like,
Yeah. You and I were like 9 and 10 respectively, probably, when we played that game. So, go figure, we're not going to notice these issues. But I was watching.
Oh my god, it's Sonic!
Yeah.
It's 3D!
I was doing a race through the game with other people, and it's just like, there are a lot of flaws here. But I see studios still repeating the same mistakes. So I think for Bound by Flame, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't just hand the female voice actress the script, and, you know, maybe she's not even that prolific of one, and it's just like, here you go. All right, thanks.
Yeah, that probably was the case, because when I think about it, a lot of the voice acting in the game felt like there was a huge... I mean, this could have been just the way it was coded or designed, but like there's a huge gap sometimes between what someone says and another person's reaction. And a lot of times there's that gap, but there's also like a really weird tone shift where definitely it seems like someone was given just a bunch of lines with no context in
that
what anyone
sometimes
else is
happens
saying.
in BioWare games.
Yeah.
When
I mean, given the amount of dialogue, I can imagine.
There's one where if you romance Thane, like you're like talking about his dead wife, and then one of the options to respond to this is, "I want you, Thane," and it's like, what are you talking about? It's really weird.
How appropriate.
It'll be like, I'm so depressed and I just had a flashback to my wife, and it's like, hey, wanna fuck me?
here.
Like, what?
This is boring now. Can we have sex?
Yeah, he's like talking about something really sad and depressing, and it's being like, yo, Thane, you want this? And you're like, what are you talking about?
I may not be your wife, but I'm here.
Jump these bones.
Quick question on your guys' side. Do I sound like my audio is glitching out or anything like that, or do I sound good? Okay, because y'all sound
just
awful
Skype.
to me, but I think it's my computer. So as long as everything is okay, then I'm just going to keep going. Okay. Actually, speaking of that game, have you? How many of you guys have played it? Maria, obviously, you've played through it. Mass
Which
Effect
game?
3.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
I just wanted to wait, no, I probably already complained about this. Whatever, let's move on to another one. I can rant about it at a different time.
You know that everybody knows that when you bring up Mass Effect 3, it's the danger zone.
Let's see. For anybody that doesn't know, Mari's
in the danger zone
the head moderator of Mass Effect. Go send her some Garrus dick pics. Okay.
Oh, can I bring up a game that's cool?
What?
Has
Yes,
anyone
I
seen
played it last
Mushroom
night.
and
It's really cool.
No.
Oh,
So
yeah, it's just so cool. You are like a gooey mushroom, and it's post-apocalypse, and you destroy parts of yourself with like a mouse click, and you melt away bits, and on the opposite side to where you melt it, more of your mushroom grows, and that's how you move, and you like mold yourself.
so you kind of
pipes and stuff.
you kind of like push and
so
sculpt
good.
it,
Except-
and there's a lot of like insects and stuff that you want to eat for just points, I guess, or just for the sake of completionism, and so you have to like carefully get up there. Yeah,
it's collectibles.
It's
but
really
it's also
smart.
a puzzle. Yeah.
Josh, I remember your stream with the developer. I
Oh,
watched that.
wow. Yeah, that was ages ago. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I really,
Yeah.
really enjoyed that stream.
That was a fun stream.
I,
They're really
I
nice
met their
people.
I met their PR
They're
person
really
actually at
smart.
a convention, the Boston Festival of Indie Games. She was actually the rudest person there to me. She talked to me for all of 10 seconds, handed me a business card, and then walked away from me. And I'm like, but I wanted to like talk to you about the game. And so like, if I wanted to learn any more than that, I just listened to her talk to other people. And I think part of it was like, I said I was,
wow.
you know, a YouTuber interested in covering it. I wonder if she was like, you know, I'm not, you know, you're just going to play it anyway. I don't care. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It was
YouTube,
just
who does
weird.
that?
She handed me a business card
Like-
and walked away. And like, I mailed them later and they were super, I don't know.
Maybe she's
Honestly,
just
it was
weird. Maybe she's just a weirdo. That's how I am in real
PR.
life, and everyone's like, "Why is she like an
But if
asshole?"
that's
Like,
your
no, it's just
PR
me
person
talking to
though
people.
at the convention. Yeah.
Oh,
PR people
she's
tend
the
to be
PR
rude,
person.
but like they got. I think they must have hired PR people because I'm pretty sure it's just Ite and Julia
Yeah.
are the main
Yeah.
devs, and they're lovely. But they must have just
I
hired
don't
an
know
asshole.
who she
I mean,
was.
it
I know
happens
she.
sometimes.
I know she.
I mean, I have a
personally knew
job
the
somehow,
developers
so-
more than just being like hired help, and I'm sure it was just like convention jitters or con fatigue or whatever. But I was just like, I had just come from talking to the albino lullaby creative director for like 15 minutes, and he's like juggling Oculus Rifts and talking to me about like how they made the game. And so I go over to Mushroom 11 hoping to get the same experience, and she's like, "Yep, here you go, bye." And I was like, "Oh."
Wait, what's he like? Is he weird?
so
like,
he
in
looks
a
like
good
Tim
way,
Schafer.
Kind of like, oh, you're kind of weird, kind of.
And he's like, yeah, it was
Oh.
weird. I was like, I was like Tim Schafer,
Secretly
but no, he's
is
not
Tim
as big as
Schafer.
Schafer, like just in terms of like height and stuff. Because
Shim Tafer.
I've
Face.
seen Tim Schafer before in person, and that guy is rounder. But he was really friendly and energetic to the point where I was uncomfortable. But it was also like 3:00 in the afternoon. We had both been there since 8 in the morning, and he was still going as though he was like hyped up on something. It was really impressive. Yeah, they aren't
I
a
can't find any
particularly
pictures
public
of these
studio,
people.
but like, actually, interesting thing about them, only 2 of them actually live near each other. The rest are just spread all over the country. So I was talking to them, and they're actually.
Because they were like, "Oh, if you live in
that
Boston,
would've been really
we'll get you
cool,
a
but-
beer or whatever." I don't remember what they said, but
Oh yeah, I remember that.
yeah, people invite us to do things, and we're like, physically, like in real life, like we're gonna touch? No.
Touching is
I'm sure
optional.
people don't invite you just to go, "Ooh, can we? Could I shake your hand? And can I touch your face?"
No,
Poke,
but
poke.
no, it's just like Stacey and I are both like, okay, don't talk to us, don't look at us. Like we went to a convention together, and I was just standing there like having a full-on well, I had also just met Patrick Stewart, so I was having like a panic attack. I screamed in his face and ran away. It was so bad. It was so bad. Oh my god.
Oh,
But
no, I bet he's had that happen before.
yeah, okay, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
Happens all the
Constantly.
time.
Well, it's a nightmare that I relive in my mind every day.
I love meeting developers, especially for like smaller games, because then they try and have time for you and are like super positive about everything.
I like talking to them online, but I don't like talking to anybody in real life.
Oh man, you should.
I feel like I'm the opposite.
maybe.
Like I feel like I'm able to
Huh.
kind of converse much more easily when I, face to face. I can speak with my hands.
Nope.
Yeah, I
tend to
actually
do that a lot.
prefer doing that. I was really self-conscious that day just because like you go to a convention, you've never done it before, and you're not entirely prepared. So like I had deodorant, I had everything, but by the end of it, it's like I knew I could smell, so I'm just like, I don't want to offend anybody, but I need to talk to these people just for, professional capacity.
Bring
But I'm
cologne
like,
or something, an extra deodorant. Oh, wait, you don't have a purse.
yeah. Yeah. So I think I was fine. I don't think I bothered anybody, but I was like talking to these people, and like some of these developers are like super like super friendly to the point where like my personal bubble isn't the size of their personal bubble, so they're like much closer to me, and I'm like,
This sounds like a nightmare.
it was a unique experience that I will probably do again because I had a lot of fun for it. But by the end of it, I'm like, this is a Saturday afternoon in Boston in like on MIT's campus, so there's nobody around. So I was just walking down the middle of the street being like, there's nobody around me. This feels really nice.
That's how I feel every day.
And then I ate Chipotle and got yelled at by a waitress. So
What?
yeah,
Throw your Chipotle.
Yeah, I was sitting in the plaza area on a nice bench, and a waitress comes over and is like, "This is our bench. You have to get off of it. You know, this isn't for Chipotle people." I'm like, "Where's the sign?" But whatever, it doesn't matter. It's just a matter of like
A bench DRM.
Yeah, she was very possessive of that bench for a restaurant that didn't have people in it. It was weird. But no, Mari, you should come to like PAX or something.
God, no.
Come. Don't tell anybody that you are GeekRemix part.
Even then,
A or
though,
B.
just being in that place, in any place with lots of people, I would die. I would
Cosplay
die.
as yourself.
Huh?
Cosplay as yourself, and then no one will know who you are.
Yeah.
Cosplay as Stacy.
Stacey and I actually have plans where we're gonna like wear like wigs and stuff and like disguises so nobody would know who we are. Just,
I was going to mention
can't
that.
handle human interaction.
That could be quite fun.
You finally put a picture of yourself on the internet of your full face. I saw that on Twitter the other day, and I was like,
It's been a very slow process.
yeah?
It's
Baby
like
steps.
if you guys think it's like it's difficult for me to post a picture of my face on the internet, imagine how hard it is for me to like interact with a human being. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah. I just kind of forced myself with it, and I know that's like terrible advice for anybody, but I was just like, I have a webcam now. I should probably do face cam. Oh.
Terrible idea.
Yeah, with all your streaming.
Yeah.
Probably helps with it.
Yeah. My audience was confused. It's like, why does he suddenly have a face cam that he hasn't talked about ever? But like,
Who is this person?
I still haven't put any videos on my channel except for like 5 episodes of a thing with my face on it. So I think I went 2 months streaming with facecam and not. And then I did like one video of me being in Vermont. And my entire audience flipped out because it's like, this is what you look like. And I'm like, I thought everybody already knew. Oh, wait.
5,000 subscribers gone.
Yeah.
I can't watch someone with a face like that.
Oh, yeah. I was standing in front of a stream and I didn't realize it was so loud. So it sounded like I was pissing really hard for the entirety of the video. So I found a waterfall.
That kind of stream.
I stood in front of a waterfall for the next one. And
I stood in front of a Twitch stream.
funny.
That's what I thought you were doing. You're like, yeah, I stood in front of a stream and I like didn't know and I had no pants on.
Dude, you can't. There's no internet in Vermont. You can't do
None.
that. Not enough.
It's absent.
I was on vacation.
All right, it's been an hour and 14 minutes, and my boyfriend is hungry, and I have
Cool.
to feed him.
I am hungry too.
So
We'll feed him after midnight.
Okay. So, just to reiterate what Mari said at the beginning of the episode, anybody watching this, we can't come up with a name for this. So,
No, everyone say what were the really good names that FTL came up with? It was like
Plebia.
Plebia,
political hit.
Critical Hit.
Critical hit, yeah. And I'm not going to tell you the others because they're for another... Oh, no, I told you one. Questicles.
Yep.
Questicles.
Yep, there we go.
I was gonna say Let's Jerk.
But that already
So-
exists as a subreddit, so we can't.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
That's the subreddit for making fun of our Let's Play.
Like, what is there even to make fun of it? It's already a joke.
Yeah, nobody's
Oh, called
posted
out,
that.
Let's Play. Called out. You're a joke.
Oh.
I guess for anybody that also doesn't know, this is the successor to my original Let's Play podcast that died.
Where
In your
everybody
face,
who
old
wasn't
podcast.
and everybody who wasn't invited to the first episode complained
Got really
so
angry
hard.
about it.
They just complained, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. You should have been invited. You have 2 subscribers."
Ooh.
And it's like 4 people is like the max if you want to have a decent
Oh yeah,
conversation.
we tried 5 once and it was a nightmare.
All right, we're all gonna say goodbye now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So come up with a name for us.
Like, Please, thank you.
Because we still want to do this.
Yes, but we
yeah,
would like
we
to
want this
title it.
to be a real thing for humans and non-humans. I don't know.
Whatever you are.
Whatever you are.
We accept crab people.
Cool. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.